The air, water, earth, and sun awes us. The four awesome forces of nature can provide 1,000 times more energy than we need. You are also awesome. You and me and all Earthkind are the fifth element. We are literally changing the world. Technology is now harnessing nature's awesome power for electricity, heat, and transportation. And the best news is that the clean energy transition can save us money and create a more prosperous, just, beautiful, and sustainable civilization today. If you would, tell us who you are, where do you live, what kind of work do you do?
So my name's Lauren Salz. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sealed, and I am currently based in Bridgewater, New Jersey.
And you do work all around, right?
We do work all around, yes. So we help single-family homeowners make their homes more comfortable, clean, and healthy for themselves and for the planet.
Yeah, outstanding. And we like to kind of frame things. We call it a quantum quote, just an inspirational quote that helps put people into the mindset of a little bit different perspective. Do you have one that you'd care to share?
So one of my favorite quotes is an Albert Einstein quote, which is, there are two ways to live your life. One is that nothing is a miracle, or the other way is that everything is a miracle.
I love that quote. Einstein had so many great quotes, but that's definitely one of my favorite as well. So, and the other one is that the universe is either friendly, you think it's friendly, or it's not, right? So, well, thanks for that. So tell us what Seal does and how does it work, and why you're involved with this. Why is it so important to you?
Yeah. So what Seal does is a couple of things, but the biggest thing we do is we help homeowners make their homes more efficient, clean, and comfortable. And what that means is that we incentivize homeowner to make energy efficiency upgrades through a very new, innovative pay for performance model. And so what that means is we focus on making things as easy and affordable as possible. And so what that means for us is that we figure out the best type of improvements for people to install in their homes to solve their problem. And then we figure out the best contractor to do the work. But the key reason why people trust us to make those decisions for them is because of the way that we're paying for the improvements, which is that we're covering the upfront costs and people pay us back through the energy savings.
Wow. So people have challenges, like what kind of challenges?
So very common challenges that people have: very drafty, uncomfortable homes, and they have outdated HVAC systems. And so common complaints that we hear from our customers is that their home is unevenly heated and cooled. So one kid might be too hot at night, the other is too cold. Their heating system is making a weird noise at night. Those are kind of some typical complaints that we hear from people that we're talking to.
And you come in and you provide all the capital, so it doesn't cost the homeowner anything up front.
Correct. Yes. And so, it's very interesting because there's very effective hardware to solve this clear consumer problem, right? So things like air sealing, insulation, new heating and cooling equipment, but it's seen really low customer adoption. And we think that's because it's too much of a hassle and then it costs too much.
And I first heard of you guys in a program that you had sponsored by Con Edison, right? So how does that work with them?
So we partner with utilities to help their customers. So it's kind of a win-win. It helps their customers. It also helps the utility. So if you think about it, the utilities have a couple options, right? When there's an increase of demand on the system, right? They can build new power plants, right? And ways to deliver that energy, or they can focus on energy efficiency. And that's where Seal comes in.
Yeah, I first actually, in the start of my career, I was pressing for what then was called demand side management as opposed to new supply side to give the
Yes.
utilities an incentive so that instead of spending, let's say, $4 billion on a new power plant, they would put $2 billion into efficiency and they'd still make a profit on it because they'd have to raise the rates, but not as much as they would have if they had built new power plants. And boy, it was a while ago, but it's great to see that it's really taken off now, huh?
It has really taken off, and the landscape has definitely changed a lot over the past 10 years, that's for sure.
And so besides Con Edison, which other utility territories or what other states are you in besides New York?
Yep. So we are in New York for now, but stay tuned for some exciting plans over the next couple of months, and other utilities that we're partnered with. So we have Con Edison, National Grid, um, Orange and Rockland Utility, Central Hudson, NYSEG and RG&E, National Fuel Gas. I could be missing a few, but those are some of the ones that come top to mind right now.
That's great. The only ones you're missing, it seems, are the public power, the 54 different public power entities in New York State and the NYPA, and then Long Island, PSE&G. Are you guys out there? Up, you blanked out somehow, Lauren. Oh, yeah. Huh. I don't know. All of a sudden, I can't hear a thing. You got to, I can't hear you. Huh. Wow. Hmm.
Oh, can you hear me
Oh,
now?
there we go. Now it goes. Yeah. What'd you do?
I switched which microphone it was pulling from.
Huh. Okay. I don't
So
know.
that was
It was,
strange. It was working great before.
yeah, it was working just fine. So anyway, well, we'll cut that part
Technology's
and I'll have
different.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, technology is always funny, right? So I'm
Okay.
sorry. So are you in PSE&G on Long Island territory or no?
Yes, we are in Long Island.
Aha. So there we go. Yeah. It's one of the, oh, I guess, wait, is that considered national? No, it was National Grid, but
National
now
Grid. No, so they're both National Grid and PSE&G operate in Long Island.
that's what it is. Okay, so when you said National Grid, which I always think of as upstate from the old Niagara Mohawk place, you were also considering Long Island because National Grid still serves the gas company customers on Long Island, right? And is
They
it?
do. And they're in other places in the Northeast as well.
That's right. Yeah, throughout all of New England in many ways,
Yep,
right? So, and it's funny
exactly.
they come across from England too, which is how they were the
I
National
know.
Grid
That's
of
why the National
England, right?
Grid. I
Yes,
know.
I know.
And
Like
I think they still operate there today.
they do, I believe that's right. So, and so are your improvements primarily on the heating and cooling side, or is it also on the electricity side, or both?
We do anything that makes sense for our customers. So the biggest bang for your buck in terms of energy reductions is on the heating and cooling side, for sure. But we also do things like LED bulbs, smart thermostats, um, and anything else that our customers might be interested in that's cost effective.
Water saving shower heads?
We don't do water saving shower heads actually,
Ah, okay. Oh,
but maybe we should.
well, it saves a little bit of hot water, but it definitely
It
saves
saves a
some
little
money. So.
bit, although a lot of people do get free ones from their utility. So I think a lot of people already have low flow shower heads.
There we go. There we are. Excellent. So, okay. So, what do you see as the forces that are driving energy efficiency at this point?
I mean, there's a lot of forces that are driving energy efficiency, and I think there have never been more forces driving energy efficiency than there are today. So, a couple of things is there's definitely renewed focus on all things environmental and climate related initiatives. In the public conversation, even before the new administration, now there's the potential new infrastructure bill that includes a lot of funding for carbon reduction and for retrofits as well. The other thing is that there's a bigger focus on residential energy efficiency specifically in a way that there hasn't been before. And for example, for people who are very active in the climate space, there's a lot of talk about electrification and how important that is. And the national conversation traditionally has been around transportation and in particular cars. But we think that buildings is an even bigger opportunity.
Yeah, so in New York, buildings are responsible for over a third of the greenhouse gases, right? So absolutely, it makes total sense. And a lot of that is, do you find that most of your customers are oil customers, propane, gas, natural gas, or?
All of the above. So in particular, we do like to convert people who use oil to different heating sources as well as do energy efficiency. But we have a lot of success converting gas customers as well to using electric for heating.
Outstanding. And so when you talk about electrification, the thing that I always think of in the building sector then is moving from oil or gas or any sort of fossil fuel burning furnaces to air source or ground source heat pumps. And do you wind up doing both, or
Doing both.
air and ground source heat pumps, geothermal as well as air
Oh,
source?
so most of our customers end up doing air source heat pumps, but for us, we're technology agnostic. We just do whatever is the best fit for a particular customer.
And like, what, how, so, okay, so you come in, you put in all this equipment, basically based on the customer's needs, and you fix their heating distribution so that it's more comfortable and cleaner and safer and more affordable. And then people enter into, how long a contract is it usually to pay back out of the savings? And do they pay
Mhm.
you a separate bill, or does it go on the utility bill, or?
Yeah, all great questions. So the standard contract length is 20 years. And the way it works is that most customers end up paying a single bill to Sealed, and then we pass along the amount to their utility. So it's more of a convenience thing this way. There's one less bill for the customers to worry about.
Oh, great. So actually the savings gets built into their utility bill, but you take over the utility bill and then you pay the utility, and wow,
Yep,
cool, neat,
exactly.
great,
A lot more
excellent.
convenient.
Yeah, really so, really good. So as you look ahead and you see this sort of transformation happening in society with the movement away from fossil fuels, what kind of things do you see, and how do you see yourselves positioned in this?
So I definitely think that there's going to be there's going to be a really big emphasis on untapped areas, right? And especially on efficiency, but pairing that with new cleaner energy generation, right? And what I'm talking here specifically, right, is look, if you just focus on new energy generation, you're leaving a lot of the low hanging fruit behind, right? And so I think it's a combination of forces, like getting people to use less energy, and then from the energy use that's remaining, getting to use it from renewable energy sources.
Great.
And for homes, what that means is reducing energy usage through doing air sealing and insulation, right? Then making sure the remaining energy use is used as some kind of electricity. And then you actually have the option to take homes off of fossil fuels, but you have to do those first two steps first.
Okay. And do you focus just on single family residents, or do you do stuff with multi, and how big?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're currently focused on single family homes. That's the biggest market opportunity, but we're always looking at ways that we can serve more customers.
All right. And so how do you see the future of efficiency evolving now? Like, what do you see is coming next?
What's coming next? So a couple things. I think that there is going to be more of like rewarding good behavior, right? That's good for the environment and the community, right? I think you're going to see more financial incentives based on greater energy efficiency or renewables, and I think you're going to see a lot more private capital behind energy efficiency in a way that you haven't before. And I'll tell you, as a founder, right, who's familiar with the capital markets are like for climate tech companies, is that it's never been more favorable than it is today. And I think it feels more inevitable than it's ever been that this is the direction that the economy is going. So there's a lot of people interested in putting private capital behind these types of solutions.
Outstanding. So, what kind of challenges have you encountered, and what lessons have you learned, and what are you doing differently now than when you started out?
That's a great question. And I'll tell you, being a startup founder, you run into a lot of challenges. We could probably spend an entire podcast talking about challenges that startup founders face. Um, but I think and the things you do to find your product market fit can be, kind of incredible. I'll just say in the early days of Sealed, I spent a lot of time going to Penn Station or Grand Central Station, right? Approaching random people asking, are you a homeowner? And then surveying them on what their thoughts were on different product ideas that we have, right? And I did so often that eventually I ended up getting kicked out of Penn Station. Um,
Hopefully not in handcuffs and
no. I was asked to leave, so I left.
that's
And but there's a lot of challenges in cracking the code of how to drive mass consumer adoption of these solutions. And I think that's a big problem that the industry has faced for a long time that's difficult to solve. And eventually we end up landing on our current product and getting to our product market fit. But we had to speak to so many homeowners to figure that out, right? We had to try different product ideas, and it was definitely a slog to get to where we are today. So that's like, a big startup challenge that we faced. And, I think just the way a lot of businesses have, figuring out how to shift your business based on like new consumer mentalities based on the current pandemic, right? And like shifting from a very strong in-person office culture to being 100% remote completely overnight. Right. And, our team is a very close knit team, and then not being able to see everyone every day anymore was definitely very challenging, and figuring out how to operate and still remain a really cohesive, collaborative team. It's definitely a big challenge.
yeah, my gosh. And so when did you guys start, and how many homes have you done at this point?
So we started back in 2012. We were solving the same problem, but coming at it from a slightly different angle. Our original product was more of a insurance type product where the customer still had to cover the upfront costs, but we would guarantee energy savings. And that was one of our big takeaways, and from speaking to so many homeowners from that product, as well as kind of like the Penn Station customer development exercise that led us to where we currently are today. So we've been around for a while, and we've had our current product for around 4 years.
All right. And about how many homes have you guys done?
I can't publicly disclose that number, but we've helped many homeowners in the New York
Thousands
area.
and thousands, right?
Many homes. Yes.
Okay. All right. You can't publicly disclose that. Okay. Sorry to ask. So, all right. So what's the one thing you're most energized about today then, Lauren?
I think that we have a huge opportunity to help homeowners solve a key problem while helping the planet. And I think one of the most exciting things to me is that we're reaching people who wouldn't have done these improvements for the sake of the environment, right? And we've really tapped into the consumer mentality about what's important to them. And the top, 5 reasons why people take action on, purchasing some kind of consumer product isn't because they care about the environment. So I think we've tapped into something really unique there. And that just makes me really excited about how big of an impact we'll be able to have. And what motivates me on a day-to-day basis, honestly, though, is being able to hire a great team and work with great people, and just the amount of jobs that we're creating in local communities. So, we have employees based around the country, but we always use local contractors.
Wow.
And so we're creating local green jobs, which I think is the way of the future. And I think something you're going to hear talked about a lot in the coming years.
Yeah. So how many people are you up to about?
So we have almost 60 full-time people.
Wow.
And then we have many part-time people who work for us. And then indirectly, we probably employ hundreds of people in terms of our installer partners that we work with.
I've had a lot of conversations lately with both economic development people as well as community organizations about business organizations about training the workforce. So are there opportunities that you see in energy efficiency that people should think about? And if so, how should they go about getting themselves into the field?
So there's a huge amount of work opportunities in the energy efficiency field. So, from a sales perspective, we hire a ton of people who have a variety of work experience levels. Like, we're not afraid to hire people who are fresh out of college or people who didn't go to college, right? And we're happy to also hire people who are career switching, right, as well, who might be a little bit older than someone entering the workforce. And then, there's also jobs in the energy efficiency sector more broadly, especially when it comes to construction. And there's definitely a ton of opportunities to work at really high quality installers and have a really great job.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm a chapter director for an organization called E2, or the Environmental Entrepreneurs, which are 11,000 environmentally conscious business people across the country who believe it's not the economy or the environment. Actually, they go very well hand in hand. And one of the things that we come out with every year is a jobs report. When we take a look at the jobs numbers, efficiency by far is one of the fastest growing sectors of the economy. And it's one of the best paying, actually, compared to a lot of other jobs out there. So it's a great field to be in. And if there was a young person in particular listening to this that wanted to think about entering the field, would you advise them to go into any particular direction? Or
I would absolutely recommend entering the energy efficiency space. I think it's going to be one of the biggest sectors over the coming decade. And there's probably going to be more jobs available than people to fill them. And the piece of advice I would give to people who are looking to enter the space is that you don't need to have experience in the space. The most important thing is to have the right skills for that particular job. And that doesn't necessarily require industry knowledge at all. I would say that the super majority of people who work for Sealed did not have an energy background before they came to work from us, but they might have been very skilled in their particular thing that they're good at, right? Like marketing or sales or engineering or data science, right? So the most important thing is to build up skills that are valuable to employers. And I think that most employers in the energy space are very happy to hire people who don't have specific industry experience.
great. And so for you, what's your next steps?
So for me personally, or for
Both.
Sealed?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
So me as Sealed CEO, I'm very focused on continuing to build our team so we can make as big of an impact as possible. I think that one thing startup founders don't talk enough about is that when you're talking about growing the company, you're really talking about growing the people at the company, right? So you can have a bigger impact. So that's what I'm personally most excited about next. And for the company overall, I think that we definitely have some, exciting, plans in terms of broadening, the number of people that we're able to help over the coming months and the coming year.
Great. And you were saying, sort of hinting that you're going to be expanding into other states very shortly, which is very exciting. So taking this model and exponentially growing it, huh?
Yeah, and we just want to have as big of an impact as possible. And we definitely have people who go to the Sealed website and they want to be qualified and they end up going on one of our wait lists. So we always, are looking to see what areas we should enter next.
Fantastic. All right. So grand finale, a piece of parting advice and the best way for people to contact you if you'd like them to.
Sure. So, best way for people to contact us is to go to our website, sealed.com. And that's a great place for people who are either interested in improving their home or people who are looking for new job opportunities, because we definitely have a lot of job openings. And, any advice generally is that people should feel free to follow their passions and find a way to make a career out of it. And, one of my mentors when I was working at McKinsey always guided me in saying that you should follow and do what you love and the money will follow. And even if it doesn't, you'll still be happy because you follow the thing that you love doing.
Wonderful. Anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to say?
I'm super excited about what you guys are doing and the way that you're, helping companies. I think your podcast brings a lot of awareness to the interesting things going on in the space. So really appreciate you having me on today.
Oh, golly. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, for sharing your insights, your wisdom. Thanks for joining us today, awesome people. We'd like to hear from you, and we'll give you the chance to win a $150 LED light fixture if you help us understand how Awesome Earthkind can help you achieve your clean energy goals. Just go to awesomeearthkind.com and click on Tell Us. When you fill out the survey, you'll automatically be entered into a sweepstakes for a free LED light fixture, and we'll be giving one away every month for the rest of the year. If you like what we're doing, please rate and review the Awesome Earthkind podcast on your favorite podcast platform. And if you're interested in adding clean energy consulting to your existing business offerings, go to awesomeearthkind.com/earn. When you refer us to a commercial building and they decide to go clean and save green with Earthkind Energy's consulting services, your referral will save money and you'll earn finder's fees worth thousands of dollars. Remember, you are an awesome force of nature and can make a real difference. Take your next step to create the clean energy future we all want and our children need and deserve. Until next time, take care, be well, and energize.